UFC 322. This is the weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. I'm looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card after seeing the fighters on the scales. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. Also note, I will be live for the entire card. Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss the Fight Companion. And a special thank you to the Savage subscribers. We hit 55,000 subs earlier today. Very blessed to have a community full of great people like you guys. I love you all right? So thank you for the continued support as we keep on trekking on that 60K and eventually 100K journey right now. And I'm feeling very blessed. So big thanks to the community. Let's get into fight number one on the card. Vyacheslav Borshchev versus Matheus Camilo. I look at this fight as a pretty logical pick of better MMA fighter / prospect versus fun striker. The pick is Camilo. He's a part of my two-leg Lock City parlay. If you guys didn't know, well, now you know. I'm pretty confident that he wins. I like his Muay Thai a lot. I think that his Brazilian-style Muay Thai actually matches up fairly well against Slava's more traditionalist, Russian-esque kickboxing style that he has. Slava's stand-up is quite good, though, and Matheus Camilo would be doing himself a disservice to just sit out and strike with Slava. I mean, if you sit in the pocket with him, he has power in both hands, obviously from distance, has very sharp kicks to the body. There's a danger factor, but he is, 1-3 in his past 4. Got dropped by Chase Hooper. The win is a James Yontop split decision. And consistently has shown us an evident flaw in the grappling game. He is out of Team Alpha Male. So it's not like he doesn't work on grappling. It's just that Slava Claus is simply not gifted in that area. Unfortunate but true. Lacks grappling proficiency. Like some guys get it. It just happens. Slava, striking is nice. Grappling game is just not. Matheus Camilo has pretty solid Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, good wrestling. He's a strong athlete. I think he has a high probability of submission threat. Nearly had, the triangle arm bar on Gabe Green, and then ultimately he got reversed and then choked out. But Gabe Green's a crafty vet who has a pretty decent ground game and looked to be in the best shape of his life, bar none, making that UFC lightweight debut. I think Camilo's good to go in this spot. I feel pretty confident that he goes out, wins, and looks pretty good doing it. Now, of course, I want to check out the scales and see how these savages look at the weigh-ins. Matheus Camilo looks shredded, peak shape. I think he's still a good prospect. Looks like a young Thiago Alves. And his ground skills, I think, are going to be the key to great success here. If you just sit and strike with Slava, you're giving him the best chance. But, bro, Slava's record is 8-6-1 as a pro. Sure, he got to the UFC with not too many fights and with the relatively high-level kickboxing background, but then getting to the UFC too early, maybe it stifled his progress a bit. This Slava on the scales, listen, he's got the fucking rug on his chest. Reminds me of Austin Powers at the goddamn weigh-in here. And let's check out the face-off between the two. I'll tell you straight. Ain't nothing changing as far as, confidence levels when it comes down to the face-off between the two. Slava seems to be, which was expected, about an inch taller. From distance, better kicker. In range, maybe a sharper puncher. But Camilo's striking is not to be messed with. It's like, you can't just think, oh, well, Slava's got the better credentials. He's just destined to outstrike a prospect like this. And then as far as mixing and grappling, I think Camilo has a lot of success on the ground. It's been Slava's weakness. Quick submission loss to Terrence McKinney last time. He's been mauled on the ground before by guys like Mike Davis. Lost to Tom Nolan in a more back-and-forth kickboxing fight 2 matches ago. Granted, Tom Nolan's a good prospect, and I picked Nolan as an underdog there. I think that we should be good to go with Matheus Camilo. I see him taking home the biggest win of his fighting career and getting it done here against a dangerous kickboxing threat, but a one-dimensional fighter. And I'm going for the guy that has more elements to his game, and I'm going to go with the better mixed martial artist. Looking at the betting lines, -170. Now, you could have got Camilo at better value earlier on in the week and last week, but still less than 2-1 money for Camilo to go out and win. Slava sitting at +145. I like Camilo's chances of being able to take this to where he's most comfortable. Now, on Propaholics last night, we did the most in-depth prop betting deep dive on the internet every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And The community feels pretty good about Camilo winning. They think inside of the distance would make a lot of sense. Submission is plus 350 though, and he does have fairly legit submission threats that he brings to the table here. If you're looking for something more on the big plus money side, plus 350 for the D-Gen chase of, a sub call. You like inside distance because you think, well, Slava did get dropped by Chase Hooper. What about the threat of grappling leading him to getting caught by punches? It's possible. Plus 125 for the side of Camilo to win. As far as anything else, do they have significant strike totals available here? Most takedowns for Camilo is minus 1,600. Most significant strikes, plus 110, which is highly probable if he gets to dominant position on the ground, which I anticipate he will. Spreads across the board. I like Camilo as a two-leg parlay piece. I think he's a live money line. I think a finish is very likely, and I personally feel as though submission makes the most sense when I look at how these two match up. I think Camilo is going to showcase the prospect potential. He's 24 years old, had a tough debut, but still had very positive moments in the fight, and I think he's definitely going to show out here in fight number 2 in the UFC, and I'm expecting over the past, 6 months, some improvements and a better performance this time against a more limited fighter in Slava Claus. So Camilo, confident pick for me. Next fight on the card, it's Basinger Susurkaev versus Eric McConico. The pick has obviously been Basinger Susurkaev all week, and this is supposed to be a squash match here. I think Susurkaev should win, and I think he should win by finish. But I want to say some positive things about McConico because he trains alongside of longtime UFC contender Jared Cannonier. He has pretty dangerous close-range boxing, and I'd say he's relatively powerful with his hands. The split decision win against Brundage was testy. I actually felt like he could have lost that decision. Still ended up going his way. I look at the stylistic clash, and I think Susurkaev has slicker kickboxing, specifically with the lower half. Teeps to the body kicks, kicks from the outside, and then close range punches and elbows. I think he's going to be better in the tie clinch and things of that magnitude. And then I also rate him as a superior grappler. We saw Brundage have some wrestling success against Eric McConico. I think Basinger Susurkaev is also live to have some wrestling success. He did win his UFC debut by submission. That was his first sub win as a pro, but I could see him going to the well again, mixing in the grappling and finding success, taking McConico's back and choking him out. I think there's definitely a chance that we see Susurkaev by sub end up hitting the mark here. 11-year age difference between the two. We have a 10-0 prospect versus, a 10-3 prospect, I guess you can say, with McConico, who's 1-1 in the UFC. I think that this should be a Susurkaev second showcase. I think he goes out and looks good. I feel as though some will look at that Nolan fight as like, oh, well, he did get caught. Maybe he doesn't have as much skill as initially presented. But you have to remember, he fought Tuesday and then he fought Saturday. Okay, this is full camp, focused on Eric McConico. I think this should be a Basinger Susurkaev showcase spot. They got him in the second fight on the card early in the night, so they're not pushing him up the ranks too fast, but I think he should show out in fight number 2 here on this UFC 322 card. And I think Susurkaev for a finish makes, honestly, too much sense. I want to bring them up on the scales and let's check them out. Mainly, I want to bring up McConico to say, this is not a guy that's coming to lose. He may be a plus 650 underdog that doesn't seem to have much of a chance, but, the guy definitely trains his ass off, works with Cannonier. Cannonier was at the weigh-ins with him, coming in peak shape, shredded. I expect him to put his all into this fight, but the all is not going to be enough. He does have 3 KO losses as a pro. Susurkaev known for the knockout prowess. There's Susurkaev on the scale. Looks pretty good. He's got no issue making 185. I wonder if he would consider a cut to 170. Not that he's a small middleweight. We'll see when they face off. I mean, it's not like you're thinking, oh, man, McConico with that size advantage. McConico looks a tad bit thicker than him, though. A little bit thicker on the tricep, a little more dense here, but not substantial. And I think Susurkaev should have his way with McConico. Probably a knockout, right? Because that just makes the most sense. Teeps to the body, into straight punches, into a setup to catch McConico with something as he gets a little reckless. I definitely think Susurkaev's live for the sub, but club and sub does not seem out of the realm of possibility here. I'm going to bring up the betting lines. And of course, You know the money line odds if you've been, following the card at all this week. But if it's your first time seeing it, he's a 10-1 favorite. So you can't make money on a money line here on him. I mean, you can, but it would take a lot of money to make anything. Under 1.5 is -220. I do favor him getting a stoppage under a round and a half. Inside distance, Susurkaev is -450. So, inside distance, not great. Susurkaev by KO, -240. So they're telling you they think we're putting him out. That's it. Submission for Susurkaev is 5-1 odds, though. Is it wild to say that Susurkaev is live to go out and win by sub? Stings McConico a bit on the feet, maybe forces McConico into like a panic, scrambling to wrestle situation. Susurkaev gets to a dominant position and then chooses to choke him out. I really could see a rear naked choke, or rear naked strangle, I should say, being set in here. So 5-1 odds for Susurkaev by sub doesn't seem crazy. Now, a lot of folks, I know they like Susurkaev round 1, but it's -160. Round 2 is better at +300. It could go 2 rounds. It's probably first or second. If you want to make money on the side of Susurkaev, I mean, you want to play the KO in a parlay at -240, maybe a long shot. Maybe you throw him in a cycle parlay, put his knockout in. But, that's pretty strong odds for a knockout prop when there's a possibility of a sub at 5-1 odds there. Under a round and a half makes a lot of sense to me at -220. Fight doesn't start round 3. They got you straight up -400. I was hoping that we'd see it at -275. Basinger Susurkaev to finish, and most likely finish the fight within, the first 7 minutes or so. I think it's a one-way traffic type of matchup. This shouldn't be competitive. This should be another showcase. But I do think there is some potential for a submission. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Susurkaev subs McConico, though all 3 of McConico's losses are KO. So you look at that and you're like, oh, well, but Brundage took him down. What if he gets a clubman sub? One of those situations. But yeah, Susurkaev should finish. Susurkaev first or second round, one-sided traffic. Mismatch. Next fight on the card, the ladies going after it. We have Angela Hill versus Fatima Kline. I like Fatima Kline. Listen, I was high on Fatima Kline as a prospect coming into the Jazz Davicius fight. Now, I overrated her abilities going into a fight against a top-level women's flyweight. She did land a takedown early. But since she dropped down to 115, and she's only 25, she's looked spectacular. Destroyed Dudakova on the ground. Knocked out a quality striker in Melissa Martinez, a girl known for her stand-up game. Fatima Kline has a well-versed skill set with striking and grappling, but the resume as far as her grappling game stands tall. Though we've seen some finishes in the UFC by KO, granted the Dudakova one, it was ground and pound. I think Fatima Kline should be able to pass the Angela Hill test. I see Kline as a girl with legit top 10 potential. I look at the side of Angela Hill. She's holding on by a thread. I picked against her last time with Lucindo. Lucindo won. Ketlin Souza. She ends up getting a split decision against Souza at Angela Hill. Fight before that, Tabitha Ricci handles her. Luana Pinheiro wins. Denise Gomes wins. But she's 40 years old, nearly 41. There comes a time when these fighters are in their 40s, the fall off happens fast. It's going to be one fight. They just don't look the same. And I think this could be that one fight where Angela Hill is mauled by a prospect who has skills in all areas. Kickboxing is sharp, dangerous speed from the outside, and legit BJJ skill set and competitive grappling experience at a fairly high level. Fatima Kline should be good to go. And I see her pulling off the win. Now, let's bring up the scales and let's check the ladies out. I don't think there is much to say on the scales besides, expected. Angela Hill's in shape. 40 years old, in shape. Is this the best shape Angela Hill has ever been in, though? Maybe not. Maybe not the best shape Angela Hill ever. Fatima Kline on the other side looks solid, ready to rock and roll, in shape, what I expected from her. Face off between the ladies, you'll see a tad bit of the size advantage for Kline. Kind of overstated when you just look at the height stats, but a little bit taller, posturing nicely. It's the prospect versus the veteran. The grizzled vet, 18-15, been around forever, 15 losses. You got nearly double the amount of losses as Kline has fights as a pro. I think Fatima Kline should win. I think she's going to pass the Angela Hill test. I would like to see her make it one-sided, and I'd like to see her really show out and, go and pull off a submission finish or something of that magnitude and showcase, the grappling skills some more and take Angela Hill down and choke her out. But Angela Hill has always been hell to finish. Incredibly tricky to put away by sub, and a really good chin as well. Excuse me. Over 2.5 minus 355 is no fun. The money line is minus 550. No fun. Let's see here. Kline inside the distance is plus 250. Kline inside the distance isn't crazy. Against an aging Angela Hill, there's a possibility she gets a stoppage. KO is plus 550. Submission is plus 550. Could it be ground and pound into the submission? Could it be a head kick? Maybe. I favor sub, okay? I do. I favor sub over KO, but that doesn't mean, go play the sub at plus 550. If you're thinking there's a chance of inside distance, because certain women's fights, the decision makes too much sense. Like I called the Pilastri inside distance some fights ago. At minus 190, the decision, it's essentially a worthless line. Maybe it hits, but you get what I'm saying? There's not much upside to it. I think there is a possibility that Fatima Kline is to stop Angela Hill here. A nearly 41-year-old Angela Hill gets handled. Looking at the spread, out of curiosity, Kline most takedowns, minus 500. Kline, minus 3.5, minus 165. Probably hits, live to hit. But what if Angela Hill made it a competitive 29-28 decision? She took a round. Then you're playing a minus 3.5 and you're losing. But you got to chase something if you need to chase. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to bet this fight. You don't have to bet any fight. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking. Kline inside distance is live at plus 250, but I get the decision side for sure. Minus 550 on the money line. Kline should be the winner. Fight should end with Kline with the hand raised. It'd be nice to see her get a finish here. And I do think there's a possibility of her going out and getting a finish in this spot. Let's keep running up the card. Next fight, we have Chepe Mariscal versus Pat Sabatini. This right here has been an emotionally tumultuous breakdown for me. On Sunday, I picked Pat Sabatini. I have been sleeping on it all week, and that Sunday night, I was tossing and turning, overthinking my call and looking at the upside of Chepe Mariscal. The reason to like Chepe Mariscal is he's a relentless scrambler. He's a pressure fighter with a very good gas tank, and he definitely is the better striker between the two. Pat Sabatini has relatively shit striking. I have to keep it a buck. He's a low-level stand-up fighter, very much a sitting duck to power shots. Where he wins fights is grappling. His game is grappling. If he sits and strikes, he can be caught. Now, to be fair to him, coming off of a dominant win over Joanderson Brito, where he blanketed him the whole time, kind of exposed Brito in that fight. At one point, Brito had a lot of hype as a prospect. Fight before that, choked out Jonathan Pierce. Granted, Jonathan Pierce is a grappler, and he fell into the game of Sabatini. This is a rematch, too. If you didn't know, they fought a long time ago back in Victory FC, and Chepe got a close split decision. Some wrestling success from Sabatini, some top control from Mariscal, too, though. And they both have gotten better since then. And I see a fight that could end up looking similar. I mean, we could be looking at a rinse and repeat of last time. Let's look at the scales, okay? Let's look at the scales, all right? We're going to bring up, first things first, the side of Chepe Mariscal. Chepe Mariscal seems to be in peak shape, okay? Chepe Mariscal is in, I think, the best fighting shape of his life. The vibe that I got was, okay, Chepe is locked the fuck in beyond belief and putting in a shitload of work for this matchup, knowing, this is, even though he won the first time, this is like a massive chance to start getting the move up the ranks here, because that's what it would do if he goes out and wins. This is the move up the ranks fight for him. This is a fight that changes things for him. Now, the issue is, the other day, okay, Chepe Mariscal had some photos out, and there seemed to be a light staph infection on the right arm. Watching the weigh-ins, it was hard to tell if that's accurate or not, if it's still existent, if that's definitely staph. I mean, here it looks like it. That does look like a staph infection. I was looking at his wrist. He had the wrap on and then he had it off and the angle was blurry. It definitely wasn't an obvious staph infection. MMA Junkie is hiding it from us. You couldn't see it. So you have to be a little bit concerned about this. But on the flip side, this is the best shape Chepe Mariscal has ever been in. Scary jacked. Absolutely putting in the fucking work and more dialed in than his early UFC run. Pat Sabatini looked jacked and shredded per usual. He's always in great shape. The fucking Ninja Turtle of the game. And let's look at the face-off here. I'm twisted on this fight still. There's the face-off. Chepe Mariscal's got some aura about him this week, man. Torture me, why don't you? Torture me. If Chepe Mariscal doesn't have any symptoms of staph infection, seeing the weigh-in, I'm pick flipping. The staph infection worries me big time, though. Worries me big time. Because if he was on antibiotics all week, there's the element of that that's trouble, man. Torture me. Fucking hell, bro. When I've been pick flipping lately, I've been on the money. It's been consistent W pick flips. But I'm not in my head trying to lose the streak or continue the streak. I'm telling you what I'm thinking. I'm looking at Chepe Mariscal, younger man, coming in the best shape of his life with the caveat of a potential staph infection. Could that drain the gas tank heading into the later stages? Yes. Is he the better striker? Yes. Does he normally have a demonic pace to keep up with? Yes. Sabatini's minus 118. Sabatini, it's two ways. If Mariscal's staph infection causes him issues, then that second and third round where Mariscal's big success moments could potentially come against a Pat Sabatini then gets burned. Then the bridge is completely burned. But if Chepe Mariscal is on point, as I expect, he trained hard as fuck for this fight. And we have the version of Chepe, ignore the staff. We have the version we saw on the scale and then into the result inside the octagon. I think this is a guy that beats Pat Sabatini. But you can see why I'm twisted here. I like the side of Chepe Mariscal more. I have to go with my gut here. And my gut feeling is to pick Chepe Mariscal on a pick flip. I will do it. But I will warn you, okay? There is potential detriment of performance due to staff. On the flip side, Chepe Mariscal is in the greatest shape I have ever seen him in. Period. How the fuck do you play? This becomes one that maybe you want to sit back and not throw down on. You're like, yo, if Chepe look good on the scale, I'm going to bet him. Oh, wait, he looks great, but now he's got staff. Fuck. What happens in round 3? On the feet, I think Mariscal could knock Sabatini's ass out. Maybe he knocks him out early. The shape that he has, it looks like he's going to be able to pressure and stop some takedowns. I would favor Chepe Mariscal betting side, and I'm going to pick the side of Chepe on Friday, and I'm going to pick flip towards him and go for the underdog here in Chepe, which I've been feeling pretty good about. I've been planning on doing it as long as the scales don't scare me, and the staff kind of scared me, but the scales made me say, fuck, this guy's been putting in work in the training camp. This is not the Chepe from the debut. This is a different Chepe, and he's always been pretty good. This is going to be the best Chepe ever, as long as the staff doesn't kill his performance. Only one way to find out: when the cage door closes. Now, what's interesting is Mariscal by KO up at plus 350. Pat Sabatini, a little bit chinny. Maybe Mariscal is like, I got this staff. I better put it on him early. If I can blitz him in the first 2 rounds, I can put him out. If I stop that takedown and slug some fists, Sabatini could be looking up at the lights. It's not crazy to think that Mariscal by KO hits at a big plus 350 tag. I definitely favor Mariscal striking, and I would say the cardio too, albeit the staph infection gives me anxiousness. I'll pick flip towards Chepe because I have to. I feel it inside. I have to go. It's not just a gut pick too. Logically, I see the pathways. And who would I rather? If you told me right now, you gave me $300 bet, you have to throw it. If you had to, forced to, who would I rather rely on to bring me my money and some winnings? I would rather go Chepe Mariscal than Pat Sabatini. And with that, I'm going to go Chepe Mariscal to showcase, show out, exceed expectations, and pull off the biggest win of his UFC career against a former foe in Pat Sabatini. I'm going Mariscal for the W, guys. Let's go. Chepe Mariscal to go out and do the thing. Next up, Gerald Meerschaert versus Kyle Daukaus. Kyle Daukaus all day. Listen, if he loses to Meerschaert, then what the hell's going on with Michel Pereira? But that would be a very Gerald Meerschaert career. You know, Michel Pereira gets knocked out by this guy, but then Meerschaert submits some weird shit. It's kind of the name of the game for a guy who's 37-20. 3 straight losses, though. The Ritter sub, granted, it was a decent performance there. Brad Tavares pulls it off. He failed 8 takedowns in that fight. But like Jacek knockout 3 months ago. Now we give him Kyle Daukaus. I don't trust that Meerschaert chin at all. He was just chin checked 3 months ago. And now they're going to give him Kyle Daukaus, who's a southpaw with power in his hands and a pretty solid grappling game and some long limbs. Went off a first-round KO over Michel Pereira about 3 months ago. It was the week before, or the week after, I should say. Kyle Daukaus should win by knockout. That makes the most sense here. Gerald Meerschaert seems to be over the hill. Signs of slowdown, 3 straight losses. Let's not forget, even against Edmund Shabazian, dropped badly. Shabazian gassed himself. Like, as long as Kyle Daukaus doesn't gas himself hunting the kill, he should be all right. Now, Daukaus has the nickname the Darce Knight. And recognize that Daukaus is known for pretty good jiu-jitsu. I wonder if in the back of his mind, he's like, I'd like to fucking choke this guy out. I'd like to prove a point and win by submission here. Not impossible. Let's check out the scales and see what we're looking at with the side of both men. First to the scale, we'll bring up Kyle Daukaus, Mr. Hips himself. They don't lie. He got the big hips. Looks ready to go. That's what Kyle Daukaus kind of looks like. You know, at times, like, what? That's the guy I'm picking? But his fighting skills are better than his deceptive look. Opposite side of him. Right? We'll bring up the other side. GM3. Looks pretty shredded up, but I'm seeing the grays in the beard. And I think the Warrior is past his best days as we get into fight number 58 for him. Been around for a long-ass time, chat. Long-ass time. I have to favor the side of Daukaus. Daukaus, a little bit taller, too, at the face-off. Kind of a narrow frame, but really long arms. I think he should be able to pick off some shots on Gerald Meerschaert. And I think that the side of Kyle Daukaus should be taking home a pretty big win. I'm excited as fuck for this fight, chat. I'm excited as fuck for this. This is going to be cool. I really want to see Daukaus. Was it the one-hit wonder against Michel Pereira? Or have the evolutions been made? And he's ready to actually try to make this run. I don't know if he's getting to the top 15. But if you beat GM3, you're closing in on it. Especially after beating Michel Pereira last fight. I favor the side of Daukaus. Of course, he's a big favorite. So, I favor the side of Daukaus. What a fucking hot take, bro. You guys say, AJ, what a hot take. At minus 550. I think he's going to win. Plus 420 for the other side. If you're taking the Ripskis, you're doing the CBD line, there's your plus 420. For me, 100 days off the rips, 100 days sober, Jay. So I'm staying off. But hey, maybe that's your fucking Destiny's luck sign on plus 420 for Meerschaert. Good luck. Let's see here. What's Daukaus inside distance? Minus 175. I do think he's very live for a finish. KO is plus 150. Submission only plus 240 for Daukaus. You actually have a wider line for Meerschaert by sub at plus 650, which is interesting. I think that Kyle Daukaus pulls out a one-sided victory. Inside distance is minus 175, way better than a minus 550 money line. tell you that much, especially maybe you want to parlay it. I think finish is likely. KO is the most likely outcome at plus 150. But it's not impossible that he decides to showcase the submission skills a bit. Now, just want to check if there's any significant strike totals. Most significant strikes, minus 350. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Fuck that. Fuck that. Yeah, Kyle Daukaus to win. It just makes too much sense for me. I won't overlook it. We're going Daukaus, minus 550 to handle and to finish as well. Official prediction, knockout win for Kyle Daukaus. Now, next fight on the card, we got Malcolm Wellmaker versus Ethyn Ewing. Short notice fill-in for Cody Haddon. Haddon was a short notice fill-in for Surrey City. So, third opponent up for Malcolm Wellmaker. Third time's the charm, all right? This fight's going down. It is 145, so featherweight division fight. Granted, both men, naturally the bantamweights, you can check real quick. Ethyn Ewing's last fight, right? He weighed in 135 pounds. Billy Brand was the opponent. If you know Billy Brand, he actually lost to Cody Haddon on Contender Series in the first round, and Ewing also beat him in the first round. So, interesting fill-in. I'm going with Malcolm Wellmaker. His boxing is incredibly slick with the God-given gift of timing and hand speed. Malcolm Wellmaker has good eyes. He's got nice precision, got good movement, good multi-shot combination. He's just a special puncher, though. Just the way he sees things. He's got the gifted precision. Now, on the other side, though, Ethyn Ewing, he's actually a pretty good striker. Solid forward pressure, can mix up the kickboxing, pretty nice power in his hands. Big knockout of Billy Brand. Loose with the style and confident in exchanges to throw shots, which I think could get him knocked out here against Wellmaker. But it's not like he's some slouch. I mean, he knocked out a 6-1 fighter in LFA 9 months ago. Then he knocked out Contender Series veteran last weekend in Billy Brand in the first round with a beautiful right hand, straight down the center, flat out. Wellmaker ain't getting caught with something like that, though. He's not sitting tall like that and just getting chinned. I respect Ewing for taking it. I think Ewing might have some staying power in the UFC. He's 27, definitely pretty good at 8-2. I look forward to watching him fight more, but as far as a debut against Malcolm Wellmaker, yeah, a bit of a nightmare, especially on like 2 days' notice. It doesn't go well for him, but big chance. You have to say yes to these types of opportunities. I think Wellmaker should go out and chin him, but Ethyn Ewing demands a lot of respect for taking this fight. And I do look forward to seeing what he can do in the first few minutes and trying to see if there's any positives. He was taken down a couple times by Billy Brand in their fight, so I'm not thinking, oh, Ewing's going to bring the big wrestling threat and throw around Wellmaker. No, he's going to like to strike and play into Wellmaker's game. And with that, I think Wellmaker should most likely have his way within, probably the first round here. Now, as far as the scales, we'll check them out and we'll bring them up on the scale, all right? Let's look at the face-off between the two savages. First things first, though, Malcolm Wellmaker, shredded up, tatted up, ready to rock and roll, quickly become one of the fan favorites and prospects to watch. Ewing coming in on short notice, looks in good shape. Kind of looks a little bit like Garrett Armfield, to be honest with you. Definitely mad respect on him taking this fight. Nothing but respect to this guy. Like, he deserves a lot of props. To take a fight like this against one of the most highly touted prospects in your weight class on a couple days' notice, like, that takes a lot of confidence and balls. And regardless of how the outcome goes, which I think it's going to be pretty bad for Ewing, probably knocked out in the first round, I have to say I have a lot of respect for the chance that he's willing to take. With that being said, though, Wellmaker by destructive knockout makes the most sense here. It should be a Wellmaker showcase fight, and the odds are in complete alignment with that, as he's a minus 410 favorite. Yeah, it makes sense. Plus 310 for Ewing. And then the prop betting side of things, if you're looking for something, what are you thinking? Under a round and a half is minus 155. Even though they're bantamweights, with Wellmaker's precision, that has to be incredibly live. Looking towards KO win for Wellmaker, it's minus 185. Minus 165 at best. Let's see here. Wellmaker wins in round 1, plus 115. Wellmaker wins by KO in round 1, plus 175. I'm going to go out on a whim and say he does pull off the first round knockout. I don't think Ewing's been KO'd before, though. No, never been knocked out as a pro, but, that doesn't mean he can't be knocked out. He hasn't fought Malcolm Wellmaker before. Anything else? Deceptive lines. Wellmaker wins round 1 and 2, -175. I do think that's very live, actually, at -175, as is just a KO straight is a solid line. What's Wellmaker under half a round, +275? It could go a little long. But Ewing's style is aggressive, and he could get clipped. Wellmaker to dominate, -270. That's not worth it. I think Wellmaker wins by KO, and I think he wins by first round KO. You want to just go, that KO line, you're not going to get the plus money side. You get -185, -165 region, but likelihood of success for a Wellmaker knockout, I think, is really high. So Wellmaker by KO is the official pick. If need be, though, I must say Wellmaker has gone 5 rounds before. I don't have doubts around his cardio. And if somehow Ethyn Ewing has a cinder block head and like a prime Roy Nelson style chin and just can keep coming and coming and coming, I think Wellmaker could just tune him up over the course of the distance as well. But it's not going to go that far. Ewing's going to get knocked out. Wellmaker, KO, the official pick. But respect to this short notice filling, guys. He demands respect. A ton of it, okay? I got to give him a bravo for taking this fight. Next fight on the card, we have Erin Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. You guys know, I'm an Erin Blanchfield fan. I have been for a long time. I've believed in the grappling skill set. Off rip, a little bit too much too soon with the Man and Furo loss, but I think that Blanchfield is a nightmare pressure fighter. Nasty top control, good jiu-jitsu skill set, slick submission game, good chin, durable striking. Like, she doesn't have the slickest stand-up, but she can mix some punches together and walk through shit because she has a high level of chin. The opposite side, Tracy Cortez, I mean, she's a pretty good wrestler. She can box a bit. There's elements to her game that are good, but normally has the wrestling advantage. Now, without the wrestling advantage, I mean, they fought when Erin Blanchfield was 19 and Cortez got a close split decision. Now, 26-year-old Blanchfield, the level of improvement rate is vast here. Blanchfield nearly got Cortez in a couple of arm bars their first fight. So I wonder if there's a chance of them tangling on the ground and Blanchfield looking to finish the job with some type of limb submission, specifically the arm bar. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Now, nonetheless, I like the chances for Erin Blanchfield to win a lot. I think that she's a lock in this fight. I don't see her losing to Tracy Cortez. Looks in solid shape. Usual Blanchfield on the scale. There's no crazy notes to be had. There we go. She's ready to go. On the opposite side, Tracy Cortez. She looks pretty lean and shredded up. Looks ready to rock too. Definitely looks like she had maybe a bit of a tougher weight cut. But, no serious notes to be had. Like, I can crack some jokes if I felt like it, but no serious notes to be had, all right? The eyelashes, will they stay on during the fight? The odds are actually for Tracy Cortez to lose an eyelash during the fight. You're actually looking at +425 odds. So I don't know if anybody's interested in betting that. It's not an actual line, but they should have that. Eyelash goes +425. We should be able to lay a bet on that. Rose Namajunas knocked the eyelash out. I think Erin Blanchfield is going to outdog her, walk her down, get in her face, out wrestle her, threaten her on the ground, be positionally dominant, wear on her, and take home the win this time. Probably a decision, but I would love to see a submission for Erin Blanchfield to really make a statement and, really put a stamp on this W. Like, yeah, I got this rematch. You got me lucky the first time. It was close. It could have went either way. Thought Blanchfield could have got it their first fight, going back and watching it in Invicta FC. And now, years later, I think Blanchfield is going to be able to pass this test and look pretty good doing it. I feel the Blanchfield side, definitely much more of the A side in this fight. Now, as far as the betting lines, Blanchfield sitting around the -250 tag as the favorite, looking towards Tracy Cortez. You got around +210. Over 2.5 rounds, -500. That's boring as fuck. Erin Blanchfield to win by a decision, -150. I think it might be worthwhile in a cycle prop parlay. But as far as just, money line in that, Blanchfield by sub is 5-1. It's not crazy, though. Blanchfield to finish the job this time and lock up a submission to prove a point. She's 26, man. The improvement rate is crazy for a girl like this. I think Erin Blanchfield should be able to handle the Tracy Cortez puzzle. And I do think she is live to finish the fight as well with better jiu-jitsu. And I think with better pressure. I mean, if you look at the wrestling, Cortez can wrestle pretty good, but I anticipate Blanchfield to be able to get her down. And I think Blanchfield's going to be in her face, off rip, walking her down, getting her up against the cage, making it a dirty dog fight, and taking this win home with, a bit of revenge on her mind here against Cortez. I do like this ladies rematch. I'm happy to see them rebooking it, and I'm curious to see how it ends up looking come Saturday. But the way I see it in my head, Blanchfield, better pressure. Blanchfield, just more durable. The shots don't really cause a reaction from her. And I think better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills when they do hit the mat. And that submission grappling advantage could be live to show itself with the submission win. Blanchfield should be a lock. Next fight on the card, Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodrigues. This right here is a certified cult prelim banger. I mean, this fight could be absolute madness. Knockout chances live on both sides. My pick is RoboCop because one of the most terrifying middleweights of all time. Massive middleweight as well. Plodding, pressure, power punching style. When he gets opponents backed up towards the cage, he is going to rip destructive punches. Where Gregory Rodrigues has got caught is with straight shots, entering range recklessly or gassing like he did against Cannonier. So, there's the element to RoboCop that chin has been exploited before, but if he lands clean, he's going to do damage. Robbed Jared Cannonier multiple times, coming off a quick knockout win over Jack Hermanson by destructive knockout. Violent. Forced Jack Hermanson to say, hey, fuck middleweight. I'm cutting to 170. Give me mid to back Orobai. I think RoboCop's power should showcase in this fight. And I also think, if need be, he's going to be the better overall fighter. I think he could implement the grappling fairly well with a physicality advantage. I see him as the better grappler. I see him as the physically more imposing fighter as well, with the punch power edge. Now, Roman Kopylov is a tactical striker. He does have nice straight shots and body kicks from distance. He has good hand speed, and he's got rather deceptive head kicking ability. I could see him shooting up some shots high. It's just, you got to have space against Rodrigues, which is hard to do because Rodrigues is looking to get up in your face, chest to chest, and make it a dogfight. If need be, I think RoboCop could win this fight similar to how he beat Christian Leroy Duncan. Leroy Duncan coming off the massive win over Tulio. There's not necessarily the same style with Kopylov, but slick, long, athletic fighter in Leroy Duncan, and RoboCop was able to shut that shit down and pull off a unanimous decision win and walk through some shots, get in the fire and mix it up. 3-round fights is also RoboCop's world as well. If Jared Cannonier fights him in a 3-rounder, it's a RoboCop easy W. I'm going to go with Gregory Rodrigues RoboCop, and I do think he is live to sleep Roman Kopylov here. With that pressure power style, he gets him up against the cage and rips some big punches. I think Kopylov is at a clear disadvantage in close range. Kopylov needs space, and if they tie up in close, I expect RoboCop to be able to control position as well in the clinch, or potentially taking this fight to the ground. RoboCop has underrated grappling. I mean, his jiu-jitsu's legit, and his ground and pound is fucking scary. I'm going with a RoboCop finish in this spot here, and I think he should be able to beat Roman Kopylov and pull off the finish as well. Now, as far as the scales between the two of these guys, RoboCop, Mr. President, looking pretty scary even when he's just relaxed. Thick, jacked, one of the biggest middleweights of all time. The opposite side, Roman Kopylov, who somehow still looks like he's 29 years old, but he's 34 now. Chase Hooper's uncle or something like that. He looks in good shape too, coming off the tough loss to Paulo Costa, where he was outdogged and, touched up with strikes. A little bit of the chaos factor threw him off in that fight. I think RoboCop is a difficult puzzle for the Kopylov side to solve. I just don't think it's likely. I think it's rather unlikely that he can solve this puzzle. We'll look at the face-off between the two. Let's see here. All right. You can see RoboCop a little bit taller, longer neck, bigger head. Shoulder to shoulder, there's about a 1-inch difference. The physicality of RoboCop is immense. The punch power of RoboCop is immense. I think that RoboCop should be able to deliver the knockout shot. And I'm going to predict that RoboCop does chin Roman Kopylov in boxing range. That's where he's going to thrive the most, is in boxing range. And I think we're going to see him get to that boxing range. Now, as far as the odds, minus 185 for RoboCop, plus 160 for Roman Kopylov. Over 1.5 rounds sits at minus 155. under 1.5 plus 135. I do think this fight is very live to go under 2.5 at minus 175. I kind of like those odds. For under 2.5 rounds, minus 175, maybe in a parlay or something like that. I think that's pretty good. And then RoboCop with the punch power, obviously the knockout call at plus 220 for him to win. Opposite side, though, you actually have plus 225 for the Kopylov edge. So it makes most sense. This fight's going to probably end in violent KO. That's what I anticipate. Fight ends in KO, TKO, or DQ, minus 150. You ain't getting much. All right, so there we go. I think this fight ends in a knockout. I think RoboCop is more likely to be the one delivering the kill shot. Actually, I'll read off round prop real quick. RoboCop to win. If he is to walk Kopylov down early and get a first round KO, you're looking at plus 550. If it's second, it's plus 700. I think both of these rounds are live for RoboCop knockout wins. The power in his hands and the advantage in punch power and just simply the advantage in close range boxing, I think is going to be substantial. And I think we see RoboCop look pretty damn good. And I feel as though he's really on the cusp still of breaking into that top 15 and beating Kopylov. He could be fighting for the top 15 spot next, or in the top 15 rather next. We'll see. Next fight on the card, feature prelim. It's Bo Nickal versus Rodolfo Vieira. I'm going to believe in Bo Nickal. I've picked him all week. I'm saying I'm believing in him one more time. Listen, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. All right? Renier de Ridder turned out to be one of the better middleweights on planet Earth. And Bo Nickal was broken badly by him, but there was still moments he was on top in the first round. I think Rodolfo Vieira, he's being a little bit overrated, bro, okay? He boxed up Tresean Gore, but like, it's Tresean Gore, though. Bo Nickal destroys Tresean Gore. Rodolfo Vieira lost in a striking heavy fight against Andre Petroski, bro. I just think Bo Nickal can do what he did to Paul Craig if need be. Win a smart kickboxing-based game plan striking match. Cool. That's possible. I don't think it's likely that he looks to wrestle with the black belt hunter himself, the BJJ champion. I feel as though Bo Nickal definitely can dictate where this fight takes place. I don't think Rodolfo Vieira is taking Bo Nickal down. If somehow he got his back, that in itself would be fucking insane. Chokes out Bo Nickal. I don't see it, man. I think Bo Nickal's going to look pretty good. I'm a little more pro Bo Nickal than a lot of people are. It was a tough loss against RDR where he got fucking exposed, but I think he can grow from that. It was 6 months ago, some things up. I think Bo Nickal's got the strike speed advantage. And I remember Rodolfo Vieira getting dropped by Cody Brundage. Yeah, he won the fight, but still Brundage dropped him. Bo Nickal could have the hand speed to put Rodolfo Vieira away. I'd like to see Bo Nickal showcase the boxing and really push Rodolfo Vieira and be the first guy to knock him out. It might be a bit of a reach, though. Bo Nickal by decision makes more sense. But I feel like he could catch that Rodolfo Vieira chin and end up flatlining him because he is the better athlete of the two. And I think Bo Nickal is ready to showcase it. I believe in Bo Nickal. At least we have to one more time. Come on. I can't go Rodolfo Vieira. I'm picking the Bo show. I'm picking the Bo show to get back on track. It ain't over for Bo Nickal. But I will tell you, Rodolfo Vieira looks fucking jacked and shredded. USADA, what the fuck is happening? Where you at? Drug-free sport is not doing the job. He looks crazy. He always looks crazy. I'm cracking a joke here. All right. Just if you don't normally watch the show, I'm fucking around. Rodolfo Vieira always looks jacked. He looks fucking crazy on the scale. He looks fucking shredded as hell. If they tangle on the ground and he gets on top of Bo Nickal or gets his back, Bo might be fucked. But I'll tell you, you guys are going to say, bro, Bo looks so mid on the scale. I think Bo actually looks more muscular than normal. It looks like he's in the best shape of his life. You guys might be saying, bro, what the fuck is that bird chest? Turtle back having ass. He looks like a damn ninja turtle with that barrel chest. Listen, okay? Bo Nickal looks like he's got a little more muscle in the fucking shoulders, traps a little thicker, back a little thicker. Maybe I'm reaching. He looks a little leaner. I think Bo Nickal's coming in the best shape of his career, and he's coming with a renewed sense of humble that's needed to succeed at this level. He's a great wrestler. This is fighting. And I think Bo Nickal is going to start figuring this fighting shit out now. At 29, he's coming into his own, nearly 30 now. It's really now or never, too. I think he's getting Rodolfo Vieira. I think he's going to have his number. And I think Bo Nickal can outwork him. There's the face-off between the two. Size of the two is similar. It's a little blurry because it was all the way from the outside, but I'll zoom it in. I got Bo Nickal. I think he could catch Rodolfo on the feet. It wouldn't blow my mind. I like the Bo show for the W, bro. Bo show, W, bro. I think he finds a way. I think he can land a big right hand. I think Rodolfo Vieira is going to be overconfident in his striking because he's been kickboxing in the last two. Bo Nickal got a bit of hand speed and power. He could catch Rodolfo Vieira with some shots. If need be, though, a sleepy decision, not crazy at all. Just I really want to see Bo pull the trigger on some power shots, man. I do. I really want to see it. Gambling-wise, minus 220 Bo Nickal should be able to win, but I get why some like Rodolfo Vieira at plus 185. I don't think you're fucking numbnuts. Looking towards over 2.5, minus 154. I mean, probably, right? Nickal by decision, plus 125. Like, it makes the most sense. KO plus 260. I don't think a KO is the craziest thing ever. What's Nickal first round KO? Plus 700? I know some of y'all are like, no fucking way, but I could see Bo Nickal catching Rodolfo Vieira in the first round. I got a feeling that Nickal could prove a point early and showcase some hands in this one. I think Bo Nickal is going to beat Rodolfo Vieira. It's knockout or decision. That makes the most sense. I'm going to pick the minus 220 favorite in Bo Nickal to win. If Bo Nickal is not to ever become a contender, it'll be a snooze fest, boring-ass decision, and a rinse and repeat of the Paul Craig fight. But that's not how MMA works. Shit's a little crazier than that. I think Bo Nickal might be laying Rodolfo Vieira out with a big shot over the top. I can see this KO coming through. So I think Bo Nickal by knockout is live in this one. And I'm picking the Bo show to get through the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, Rodolfo Vieira. I think so, especially with Vieira winning these fights striking. Overconfident in the chin, overconfident in the stand-up. Bam. Bo puts him away. Let's jump to the main card opener. You guys are watching and enjoying. Make sure you smash that damn like button. If it's your first time on the channel, welcome to the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button too. Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint Denis. I've been picking Benoit Saint Denis all week. And he's the second leg of the Lock City parlay this week. I'm confident in BSD, guys. And I'm not one of those Beneil haters, okay? I picked Beneil over Money Moicano last time as an underdog, and I was correct, all right? I've doubted Benoit in the past. And last time out, he ran through Mauricio Hufi. He's training with a new coach and showing improvements. He's 29, entering his prime now. I picked against him with the Moicano fight, and Moicano was my savage underdog, and I was right. But I'll tell you this, he was starting to win. That second round, he was coming after Moicano. No doctor stoppage. I might have been cooked. Moicano might have been cooked. That was I can't afford to lose Moicano. That's not the Moicano that Dariush fought. I think that Benoit Saint Denis is going to knock Beneil Dariush out. Benoit has very good forward pressure aggressiveness. His strike style is violence first, throwing big shots. And I think he can land some big shots on Dariush. If it's close range, clubbing shots over the top, elbows in the clinch, dirty boxing from the outside. He did knock out Frivola with the scintillating head kick. He could rip up a high kick that catches Beneil Dariush. I'm just having a hard time seeing Beneil be able to take him down, neutralize the threat, and just control for 15 minutes. Because I don't think he's going to submit Benoit Saint Denis. And I think the longer this fight goes, the less of a chance Beneil has to be able to hit these takedowns. Benoit's a guy that starts coming on, keeps going. It was destroying Dustin Poirier before he get knocked out in the second round. Round one, he looked spectacular before, meeting his match. I feel like Benoit Saint Denis is really starting to put the puzzle pieces together now. At 29, nearly 30 years old, he's hit his prime, whereas it's the opposite for Dariush, who's 36, 1-2 in his last three. He's been dropped in his past three, badly knocked down in the first round against Money Moicano with a straight right. And Moicano's not known for the power. He's not known for the stand-up. BSD has some deceptive punch power, but his aggressive onslaught and relentlessness, I think it gets to Beneil Dariush, and I think he puts Beneil Dariush away. I'm going Benoit Saint Denis to win violently. I think Benoit Saint Denis finishes him in the first two rounds and pulls off the biggest win of his fighting life. I'm excited as hell for this matchup. I want to check out the scales because we had a weight miss. Beneil Dariush came in at 157.2. Looked a little bit demoralized on the scale. He missed weight against Scott Holtzman back in 2020. He was 158. So it's not the first time it's happened, but it is the second time, and he hasn't missed weight in a long time. And, obviously showing some signs of aging, but still in good shape, right? I really feel as though when I look at the side of Dariush, I just think it's that final run, but really not much left in it. He beat Moicano last time. That was great. But towards the tail end, with punch resistance always being an issue, but now dwindling more now than ever. BSD, a guy, relentless, marauding pressure, looking to walk you down and destroy. I just think this is a nightmare matchup for Beneil Dariush at this point of his fighting career. And I don't know, missing weight's not a great sign. I don't know where he's at mentally. He always looks like shit on the scale, but I don't know, something about his aura was off. And then I'm looking at Benoit Saint Denis in the absolute peak shape. This is the best physical condition Benoit Saint Denis has ever been in his entire fighting career. Okay? This is peak shape Benoit Saint Denis coming to fucking destroy. This is different, BSD. I really think that Benoit Saint Denis is ready to go out and handle the side of Beneil Dariush. I am confident that Benoit Saint Denis goes out and handles the side of Beneil Dariush. I am excited to witness this fucking savage violence between the two of them. BSD, too hard to pass up for me, man. I think BSD's a lock here. I think he's going to get money. He's going to get through Dariush. Almost said money Moicano. He's going to get through Dariush, man. There's a face-off between the two. I'm feeling BSD by KO. I think he chins Dariush. I see him as a high-confidence pick for a reason. I think he wins, and I think he looks pretty good doing it. And I don't think he just wins. I think he wins via KO, okay? I do. I think he wins via KO. Let's look at the betting lines. They're not crazy. Minus 180 for Benoit Saint Denis. Plus 155 for Beneil Dariush. Looking towards the side of over a round and a half, minus 135. I think under 2.5, very live at minus 185. Fight doesn't start round 3, minus 125 is live. We talked about it last night on Propaholics. Saint Denis to win inside distance, plus 100. I do think that's live. Obviously, KO jumps out at me at plus 135. If you were to submit, that'd be a big deal if you were to submit Dariush, breaks him with punches and then chokes him out, plus 500. But I do favor the KO side. I think he probably puts Dariush to sleep as opposed to him going out and winning by submission. But, not an impossible feat. Saint Denis round 1 plus 250. Saint Denis round 2 plus 400. I think it's in the first or second round. I like Saint Denis wins rounds 1 or 2 plus 145. I like the chances of this. I think it's live. I think he's going to put him away. Saint Denis most significant strikes, minus 150. I like it a lot, man. I think Saint Denis winning this fight inside distance. You could just go inside distance at plus 100. I think Saint Denis ITD makes a ton of sense here. And obviously, I think KO is really live. I got Saint Denis to win, and I think Saint Denis finishes. The style is finish first, and I think he gets past this Beneil Dariush test in impressive fashion. I like it a lot. Benoit Saint Denis to beat Beneil Dariush is calling my fucking name. It's speaking to me, and I'm feeling pretty damn good that he goes out and does the thing here. So Beneil Dariush, OG of the game, respect on him, but it's Benoit Saint Denis' time, and he should start this main card off with the finish. Next fight on the main card, we got Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. I absolutely love this fight. I've been picking the side of Carlos Prates all week because the danger of striking versus the chess master. Leon Edwards is dealing with a guy in Prates that is not dangerous just from one area, right? Certain guys, right? They have big hooks on the inside, but their kicks are kind of shit from the outside. Or they're nasty in the clinch, but they don't really have great boxing. Carlos Prates has precision, a laser beam straight left, okay, from long range. He's got nasty kicks to the calf, especially in a southpaw versus southpaw matchup. He also has very dangerous close range knees to the body in the clinch, elbows on the inside, obviously spin elbow against Jeff Neal. There's creativity to his flow. Carlos Prates is a master of striking violence from all the three ranges, okay? Whereas Leon Edwards on the other side is slick from distance, right? Good straight shots, Good kicks to the body, good movement. Obviously, a nice high kick against the side of Usman. Spectacular, good long jab. Leon Edwards has good striking skills, right? The mid and long range, he's better. In close, though, I think Prates' striking is better. Now, Leon Edwards, you could argue, though, clinch work, takedown threat, live elements. I think for the side of Leon Edwards, looking to engage in grappling, catching the body kicks of Prates and tripping him to the ground, right? Sweeping the leg, getting on top, controlling from top position, looking to embrace the grind more, looking to be more of the wrestler in this fight. That's the Leon Edwards pathway. But I don't feel great about him stopping these takedowns. Prates, or him getting these takedowns, rather. I think these takedowns get stopped by Prates. Prates has pretty solid takedown resistance. And I think Leon's going to have to walk through some big shots to even get to the takedown. Another element of this fight is Prates putting Leon Edwards on the back foot and pressuring. I think we could see Leon caught with some solid shots. I think Carlos Prates is live to win by KO here. We saw Leon Edwards rocked by that straight shot from Nate Diaz. And if you look at the run of Leon, it's impressive. Beat Kamaru Usman 2 times, right? Was able to beat Covington, which I guess it's all right, but still was able to beat Covington. The Nate Diaz win. Rafael Dos Anjos win. Like, there's nice wins. Cowboy Cerrone when Cowboy was more prime. Like, there's good victories through the slate. But none of the guys that he had beaten. I mean, Tumanov's a pretty good striker back then, but none of the guys that he has beaten bring the damage that Carlos Prates does with every single strike that he throws. And that, for me, is a massive concern. I think Leon Edwards' chin could be tested. Also, his performances have been disheartening, okay? Last time out against Sean Brady was mauled. Can make the excuse of the time difference with them fighting in the morning in the UK, this, and that. Against Belal, he was outworked and controlled. Granted, finished the fight strong with some damage from top. That was nice in round 5. This is a 3-round fight as well. We haven't seen him fight in 3 rounds in a long time. I think it's Prates' time. And stylistically, I think the violence element of this fight is a bad matchup. The southpaw versus southpaw, bad matchup for Leon with the straights, with the calf kick, with the danger of power. I'm going Carlos Prates to win, and I do think he'd be live to knock Leon Edwards out. Leon is incredibly skillful from a technical standpoint, but I'm just not feeling his side anymore. He was there. He's been there, done that. He was the world champion. Prates still chasing that world title. You know, Leon can say he is. Is he, though? This Prates looking great on the scales, shredded up, in shape, ready to rock and roll. Somehow has great cardio, even though he's a cigarette smoker, which is wild. On the other side, Leon Edwards, considered by many the most aesthetic man on the planet, looking shredded up, jacked, ready to go. Looks in shape. Listen, Leon's in shape. Leon is not here to lose. I'm not pushing any narrative like he got no chance, but the Prates style is the matchup that struggles. There's the face-off. Prates was kind of like snarling at him a little bit, like a damn pit bull staring him down. I think Carlos Prates is ready in this one. I like the Carlos Prates chance, man. And Fight Nerds needs him, man. Prates he looks focused, though. It's all about him. It's about Prates. And I think he can pass through the Leon Edwards puzzle. I like the Prates upside. I'm going for Prates, and I think Prates is going to pull off the finish. Prates is a -163 favorite to Leon Edwards as a +143 underdog. Looking towards some of the other options here. Let's see. Prates via KO is +150. I do think knockout is live. Edwards submission +2,000. This is what Edwards should be trying to do, but I just don't think it's likely. Decision for Edwards +250. Prates decision +225. I like Prates' chance for a knockout. I do. I think that Edwards could potentially, if he's to win, get it on the scorecards in a tricky fight, mixing in some grappling. But I just feel like the now is Carlos Prates, and I have to favor the side of his violent striking style as opposed to the chess master style of Leon Edwards, especially a Leon Edwards coming off back-to-back losses. I'm going for Carlos Prates. I think that he wins, and he looks pretty solid doing it. You might be, but Ian Gary had moments. Ian Gary's a fucking problem, man. Ian Gary's a beast. Ian Gary's tremendous. And Prates still had him badly hurt late. This is only a 3-round fight. I think the Prates pressure in a 3-round fight be key elements to success, bigger moments, and pulls off a knockout win over Leon. I'm going Prates for the W. Next fight on the card. Featured fight. Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. Ooh, I like Michael Morales a lot. There's a chance that the winner of this fight is fighting for the world title next, which would make a lot of sense. I like that. The reason I am picking the side of Michael Morales is the base of wrestling that he has tends to be overlooked, and people hyper fixating on a guy 26 who got taken down a couple times early in his UFC career. Distance striking advantage, long reach advantage, power advantage with good hand speed, and his boxing chops are serious. Morales rips some bombs of punches, and he's got some real precision on his shots, and I feel like he's really hit his stride here at 26 years old. 2 straight first-round KO wins, absolutely melted Gilbert Burns last time, ran through Neil Magny in the fight before. Of course, the elephant in the room is what happens when he's on his back. Well, Sean Brady is one of the best grapplers in the UFC, and he has pretty good takedowns too. And from top position, he's got cinder block pressure and rather slick submission abilities. Does he get him there? Can he keep him there? What happens when Morales is stopping the takedown threat? What happens when Morales is working a stiff jab and bust up that Brady nose? What happens when he catches him with a straight shot and puts Brady on wobbly legs? And Brady doesn't have the striking to compete here. I think Morales has the grappling, at least from a defensive standpoint, to survive a Sean Brady onslaught and potentially get back up to his feet. Whereas when I look at the striking of Sean Brady, there's been improvements. He's gotten better. His jab is slicker, right? He's got more clean movement with his stand-up. The boxing has improved, but not compared to Michael Morales. A massive difference in punch power and hand speed. And that strike differential being as vast as it seems, I really think makes for a nightmarish matchup for Sean Brady. I think that Michael Morales is going to go out and do some fucking bad things to Sean Brady here. I think Michael Morales is going to go out and he's going to show out. I think Morales is going to put some big shots together, and I think his boxing advantage and the reach edge with the speed is going to be the ultimate difference maker, and I see him putting Sean Brady away in this one. I'm going Michael Morales by KO to survive the Savage Grappler. The Savage Grappler, his game works. He gets on top, and he keeps that top position. What happens when he can't? Michael Morales on the scale looks solid, looks ready to go, looks confident. One of the bigger welterweights, got a solid frame. On the other side, Sean Brady, absolute beast of a human being, jacked as fuck, strong as fuck, elite caliber grappling skills, a monster on the ground. Sean Brady's grappling, listen, if Sean Brady takes Michael Morales' back, it could be wraps. If Sean Brady is able to get to a dominant position, not full guard, maybe even a side control half guard to mount, this could be over. But what happens if he can't? What happens when Morales' defense is that good? When Morales' get-up game is there? When Morales' takedown defense is there? When Morales' footwork makes it so hard for Brady to really be able to get inside for a takedown? That's when I think trouble arises. And look at the size difference. It's listed at 5'10" versus 6 foot, but Morales looks shockingly larger. He looks about 6'1" to 5'10", maybe even 6'2". There's a clear size difference, and I think Sean Brady on the feet does not have the defensive capabilities to survive long periods of time here with a guy who has the punch precision and power and explosive barrages of shots too that Michael Morales has. I'm going with the 18-0 fighter, and I'm going with an 18-0 fighter who is the underdog. At plus 111, I am going with the undefeated underdog to beat the very skilled Sean Brady here. Brady at minus 131. I like Morales' chances a lot, guys. I do. I really do. And I like that he's a dog here. Plus 112. Plus 111 to plus 112. Flipped on the fly. I think Morales is live to put him away. Morales by KO. Plus 250. I feel like that's very live. A lot of people, though, in the community, on the opposite side during Propaholics on Thursday, plus 375. They like that Brady sub call. So, something to mention for the contrary side. Some folks really did like Brady to win by sub. Looking towards Morales, KO round 1 plus 650, KO round 2 plus 850. I can see a first or second round KO. What's Morales wins rounds 1 or 2? Plus 385. I think that's very live, Morales rounds 1 or 2. But I also do think he has cardio to go longer. Morales' most significant strikes, minus 130. If Morales were to hit the most takedowns, is plus 700. He has a base of wrestling that is like completely overlooked. The base of wrestling is overlooked here. I think Michael Morales looks solid, man. I'm going for the Ecuadorian wrestling background with the deceptive and dangerous striking skills. The length and the physical gifts should be able to give him the edge over a very skillful guy in Sean Brady, who's a master on the ground, but I think Morales is the master in the fight and pulls off the knockout. Next fight, co-main event of the evening. Valentina Shevchenko versus Weili Zhang for all the marbles. The women's flyweight title, and really live to go down as the greatest women's fighter of all time. I'm picking Weili Zhang to win. An element of this fight I was very excited for was today, was the face-offs, was to see them go face-to-face and see what the size differential was. We'll bring it up in a moment. But the reason I am picking Weili Zhang is because I believe in the striking and the grappling being able to blend together at a more natural rate than Valentina. I feel like at times Valentina showcased good wrestling, but then she's wrestling. Showcases good striking, but she's striking. There's a flip of a switch versus just a general blend. Some will say I'm reaching with that, but I also have another point that some don't like. I think Valentina Shevchenko has slowed down over the past 5 fights. Alexa Grasso able to get to her back and choke her out. Draw with Grasso. Then she dominates her in the grappling, wins the 3rd fight. Mena Fiorot wins a competitive fight. I just think Weili Zhang is a different puzzle to solve. Weili has very fast striking barrages. Weili Zhang has very strong wrestling and specifically trips. I have a hard time seeing Valentina just out wrestling Weili Zhang. Not that she could never get her to the ground, but I believe in Weili's get up and reversal game. And I could see Weili Zhang also taking Valentina Shevchenko down. And when they go to the mat, I favor the submission grappling skills of Weili Zhang as opposed to the submission grappling of Valentina Shevchenko. There's good positional dominance and wrestling control, but Weili has a better grappling flow with transitions into a threat of submissions, specifically the rear naked choke. I could see Weili Zhang taking the back of Shevchenko and pulling off a rear naked strangle. I'm picking the side of Weili Zhang, and new and greatest women's fighter of all time after Saturday. Potential for a rematch, too, if it's a competitive back-and-forth violent war. And at the very least, it's going to be an elite-level skill set battle. I think Weili Zhang can mix it up a little better than Valentina. I think Valentina is going to struggle with the close-range barrages of Weili into the takedown threat. I do think Shevchenko is a better kicker from distance, but I do think Weili can pass the range of the kicks and get up on the inside and start making it a dogfight. And when you're worried about the size factor, okay, yeah, but Weili's too small. We're going to look at the scales, okay? Then we're going to look at the face-offs. Weili Zhang looks fucking jacked. Fantastic weigh-in. This right here is flyweight Weili looking as good as we've ever seen. Now, of course, Valentina Shevchenko looks very good as well. She's in shape. She's shredded. She's ready to go. And then we got the face-off, okay? So you're worried about the size difference between the two. But let's look when they face off. There really isn't much of a size difference. You could argue maybe Valentina from chest to back, slightly thicker. Got about an inch in height, maybe. They look about the exact same height. The shoulder a little bit higher, so just a little bit naturally larger. But there really isn't a substantial size disadvantage for Weili. There really isn't a size disadvantage whatsoever. And then you look at the way that Weili has the lighter woman's speed and skill. I think that's a difficult puzzle to solve for a 37-year-old Valentina. A few years ago, Valentina versus now, I think it's a different animal. I think she's shown slight signs of slowing down. And I think that Weili Zhang is slightly more primed. I'm going to predict that Weili Zhang becomes the women's flyweight champion and the greatest female fighter of all time by beating Valentina Shevchenko this Saturday. I'm feeling the side of her victory coming. I really do. I see it happening here. And I'm looking at the lines, plus 120 for Weili Zhang. She's the underdog. Valentina Shevchenko, minus 140 as the favorite. And then looking towards some of the other options here. Let's see. Over 4.5 is minus 280. But what if this happens? What about Weili Zhang's submission threat? Weili Zhang by submission, upwards of plus 1,000. If she has the back, I mean, it's a possibility. Of course, decision makes more sense at 2-1 odds, right? And then point spreads across the board. A plus 5.5. Let's see if we have that available right here. So many specific props as options. Wow. Zhang wins and over 3.5 is plus 150. Just bet the money line there. I do think significant strike totals for over 67.5 very live for Weili, but also that could be live for Shevchenko as well. Zhang's live for takedowns. Plus 175 for over 1.5. She could hit 2 takedowns. All right, the 5.5 spread. Weili Zhang is minus 220. They got it covered. They covered it nicely. Smart of them. Because I do think it's going to be a competitive fight. And I think Weili is very live to make it close. Minus 220, though. They got you covered. I wish it was a little bit better, but it is what it is. I think Weili Zhang live to go out and win by decision, live to go out and win by submission. But you have a straight money line underdog of the current, challenger. But let's keep it a buck, okay? Mackenzie Dern would be ran over by Weili Zhang. Weili Zhang is still the women's strawweight champ. But now the UFC just doesn't want the real double champ thing, even though they're presenting the belts of both fighters pre-fight. But they vacate the titles and create champions in the weight classes below by forcing them to vacate. Whatever. It is what it is. They don't want to hold up weight classes. I think Valentina Shevchenko is outmatched here against the slightly younger, but I think simply more primed and well-versed Weili Zhang. I'm going for Zhang, plus 120, the underdog, to win and pull off the biggest win in women's MMA history, I feel like. Maybe aside from like Rousey Tate 2, maybe a Rousey Tate 1. This feels bigger though. I'm going Weili Zhang to win. For Cyborg Nunes, this feels bigger too. Let's jump to the main event. If you guys haven't hit the like button yet, make sure you smash the like button. Your first time watching, you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev for the welterweight belt. Defending Jack Della being slept on by some. I am picking the side of Jack Della Maddalena to win. I think Jack Della Maddalena gives a lot of problems to Islam Makhachev with combination punching, with the boxing skill set that he has, but also with his distance, footwork, ability to control the center of the octagon, okay? I'm not saying that he's Mr. Slickster from distance, keeping Islam at bay, but rather keeping the fight in the distance that he chooses, more so towards the center of the cage. Did it fairly well against Bilal. Where he falls into trouble is obviously with Islam Makhachev pushing him backwards, right? Putting him on the back foot, getting him up against the cage, and then being able to use the grappling edge that Islam should have into a top control, into a submission threat. I believe in Jack Della's grappling defensive abilities, showed a very good get-up game against Bilal. Also just showed good takedown defense against Bilal, but also good takedown avoidance, being out of the way where the takedown threat really couldn't even come to be. In open mat striking, Jack Della Maddalena is going to have a big advantage and a big ability, too, to avoid Islam shooting naked takedowns at him. Islam's best threat of the takedown will be pressure towards the cage. Will be trips against the cage, or potentially hitting a single from the outside, get him up against the cage, drag him down. I think Jack Della in open space is stopping a lot of Islam's takedowns. And then as far as the striking goes, I do feel as though Islam has solid stand-up. His kicks from the outside are nice. He has decent boxing, but I feel as though Jack Della Maddalena's in-range, closer range, punch range boxing is an advantage. Punch power, an advantage. Combination punching, an advantage. And Jack Della also has the proven cardio. We saw it late against Bilal, ripping big multi-shot combos, busting Bilal up in round number 5. Jack Della might have a bit of a cardio edge over Islam Makhachev. Now, of course, this is the first time we've ever seen Islam at 170. He could be super Islam Makhachev. We've seen him later in fights show slight signs of slowing down. We saw Dustin Poirier stop some takedowns. We saw Volkanovski on top at the end of the fight. I think Jack Della Maddalena is an incredibly difficult test for the challenger Islam Makhachev. The pound for pound, truly number one guy But because he doesn't have a title around his waist, he's the lightweight champion, but, you know, obviously vacated the belt and Ilya has it now. He's still pound for pound number one. I really feel like Jack Della Maddalena is going to be a problem with the boxing, with the combination strikes, with the volume, with the gas tank. Islam to find top position, but what happens when he's having a hard time getting there and he's getting stung by big shots looking to engage, and it turns into more of a striking fight? I could see Jack Della Maddalena hurting Islam Makhachev on the feet and potentially stopping him later in the fight, wearing him down over the rounds with damaging shots to the body and head, picking him down slowly. It's not going to be 30 seconds in. I mean, it could be, but probably not. Islam in the later stages puts a lot of effort out. The gas tank dwindles. Jack Della's coming on strong round 4. Islam is hurt. He's panic shooting takedowns now. And Jack Della's walking him down, bringing punch combinations. Islam can't keep up with the speed. I think the Jack Della advantage is the boxing. And I also think it's the punch speed and combinations, okay? Obviously, Islam is the better wrestler, grappler. But Jack Della could counter that by being difficult, not only to take down, but even shoot takedowns on, and then being incredibly difficult to keep down. Craig Jones working with him on the get-up game, said to have the Dagestani recipe. Listen, it looked pretty good for Volk in the first fight. Of course, in the short notice rematch, Islam put him away with a head kick. Islam does have some terrifying high kicks, and if Jack Della slips into one, Islam could land the perfect head kick. I think Jack Della's ready for this opportunity, and he's prime now at 29. He was 28 when he beat Bilal. He's just hitting his prime right now. I'm going Jack Della Maddalena and still champ, pulling off what will feel like to many the upset of the century. But if you ignore betting odds and look at the skill sets of both fighters, I think this truly is a badass 50-50 fight. Now, I want to bring up the scales between the two. I want to look at the two. Now, I understand a lot of the community disagrees with me on this one. A lot of the folks like Islam, and I get it. I get it. You're not nuts. Here is the challenger, Islam Makhachev. At 170, looks pretty damn good. A little bit more muscle mass, a little bit thicker, a little bit stronger. Doesn't look as demoralized at the weigh-in like he cut a shitload of weight. But don't make a mistake about it. Typically the bigger man in his fights. Throughout his entire run, he's the bigger guy, right? Now taking on a guy of, at the very least, even size in Jack Della Maddalena. Here's Jack Della on the weigh-in. There he is. Looking pretty jacked and shredded up on the scale. Jack Della looks so ready. He's got that fucking eye of the tiger look. I feel like Jack Della's got the eye of the tiger about him here. Let's look at the face-off. Islam, he kept the shirt on. He kept the clothes on. Jack Della goes full Diaz mode, long range, like an absolute savage, absolute aura about it. Look at this face-off. The Prime logo is killing this, man. The UFC, they need to not have this during the weigh-ins. They need to have it on the bottom or something like that. It interrupts the flow of this. Like, why is it blocking our screen? You know, or at least make it like lower opacity, like 50%. Look at the face-off there. Look at the distance with the hand out there. Jack Della had aura at this face-off. You could feel the strong confidence and energy from Jack Della. Not that you didn't feel it from Islam Makhachev either. Jack Della is not a man here to lose. Jack Della is not a man that's doubting himself. Jack Della absolutely is prepared for this spot. And I think this is a true one-of-one fight, the biggest fight of the year, one of the bigger fights of all time, and it feels like the biggest fight in a long time. I think Jack Della is live to pull this one out. And I know some hate it. I've seen the comments. I've talked in the chat, but there are some Jack Della's witnesses. The odds for Jack Della have grown. He's a plus 255 underdog. Islam minus 305. I think Islam's too wide of a favorite. I see this as a much more competitive fight than the odds will present to you. Plus 255 for Jack Della. I think he's incredibly live to win. I really do. Looking towards certain sides, okay, of props. Jack Della by decision, plus 650. Not an impossibility. Jack Della by KO, 4-1 odds, plus 400. Makhachev by submission was the community's vote from Propaholics at plus 155. They're against me with the Makhachev side. But a lot of people on the Jack Della side think he is live to get it in a competitive back-and-forth war into a close decision. I can see him winning a competitive decision and then into a rematch between the two. I like Jack Della's boxing. I like his combos. I think he's going to be able to avoid the takedown. But he will be taken down at some point. But I think he's going to be able to get back up to his feet. And I think he can outbox Islam. I think he can kind of make Islam uncomfortable on the feet with the ability of switch hitting. and catching him with multi-shot combos and wearing him down with big punches. And Islam at times being a little off-footed and then caught with big shots. Jack Della, most significant strikes, plus 105. That's live. Let's see. Do they have the totals for most significant? Over 50 significant strikes for Jack Della, minus 115. I think this is rather live here. I do. I think Jack Della, if he's to finish, I like it 3 or beyond, 3 and 4, something like that. Potentially 5, or then even, you know, in the 5th round, he does some big work, takes a decision. Makhachev over 3.5 takedowns, plus 100. Does he hit 4 takedowns? Spread on Jack Della to dominate. They got the other side of it. Be better on the plus 5.5 side. Jack Della. If it's plus 5.5 Jack Della, that's better at plus 115. If it's minus, I don't like it as much. I think Jack Della is to pull off the upset. And I think that is flipped. Yeah, plus 115. They have it flipped here on Fight Odds for the plus 5.5. Jack Della to make it a dogfight, to make it close, to not go out and get it finished, being within the 5.5 point margin at the end. I think that's live. Della KO plus 400. Della decision is not a crazy call either. Plus 650. I'm going to believe in the Jack Della Maddalena side. I think that he is going to upset Islam Makhachev as a plus 255 dog. I could see it being a competitive back and forth decision. Over 2.5 minus 225 seems likely. Over 4.5 is plus 120, but I do think over 2.5 is there. I got to look. Round 3 or 4, Jack Della. Where is it? Where's round 3 or 4, Jack Della? Della 1, 2, or 3 they have, plus 650. Della wins round 3, 4, plus 1,400. Della 5 or decision, plus 425. I don't think it's impossible for him to put Islam away. I believe in the Jack Della boxing for real. And I think he's going to show out in this fight. Yes, I know the skill sets of Islam. I understand. For those on the other side getting ready to argue with me in chat, you can. Argue with me in the comments. Islam's top control is immense. His submission threat is unreal. His darts chokes are terrifying. His kicks are nasty. His distance striking is actually pretty good. And he can box too. But he hasn't dealt with a guy that has the speed and size of Jack Della. I think Jack Della Maddalena is going to pull off what will feel like the upset of the decade. And I think he's going to beat Islam Makhachev. He's live for a later stage KO, but I definitely think decision is on the horizon too. In a competitive back and forth war, he gets it on the cards. I can't wait to watch it. And I do think this fight is also live to be fight of the night for UFC 322. The fight of the year goes down this Saturday. I can't wait. And I'm picking Jack Della to pull it off. Now, those are my predictions, but I do want to talk a little bit about the parlays, okay? So these were some of the savage parlays. If you guys tuned in earlier in the week, I was looking for big D-Gen odds, trying to create some magic with the savage parlays. Camilo, Blanchfield, Morales, things like that, okay? But I want to show you guys a little bit of the safer lineup, okay? A little bit of the... Now, when I say safe, I mean safe. There's good calls to be had. There's smart calls to be had. There's winnable calls to be had, all right? Like Susurkaev, Blanchfield, it's going to be worse than that now. But, like, look at this. Saint Denis and Blanchfield, sneaky confident too. Now, obviously, Lock City is Camilo and the side of Saint Denis at plus 141. But if for some reason you don't want Camilo, I think Saint Denis Blanchfield could be a good alternate to that. There's still good odds to be had with all these. I mean, I think the good 4 legs alive. I know you guys want me to do something, though. After the weigh-ins, I know. You're like, all right, we want to see. Is there anything after the weigh-ins? Anything different? Okay, let me sit here for a second and ponder, all right? Benoit Saint Denis to win inside of the distance, I think is pretty live at plus 100. I think a finish is really there for him. Now, on the flip side of that, I also feel as though if you want to run it this way, you can. Blanchfield, plus 180, okay? And then from there, Morales was the initial thought, plus 488. But let's say you don't like Morales. Weili Zhang, plus 499, nearly plus 500. Sneaky. Morales, plus 1158. This is live too. Saint Denis inside distance, Blanchfield, and then Daukaus to win inside the distance. where is our Daukaus ITD call? Minus 138, plus 383 for the 3-leg. And then Chepe Mariscal as an underdog, plus 914 for a little degenerate shit right there. And then if you also believe in Camilo earlier in the night, you go in D-Gen Savage mode. Let's make it happen. Matheus Camilo, bang, plus 1536. And then you're like, well, Susurkaev inside distance might be better off now. You got plus 1973 for this D-Gen Savage shit. That is some D-Gen Savage shit. That's some D-Gen shit. But it's not like crazy outcomes. I'm not shocked by Saint Denis inside distance, Daukaus inside distance, and Susurkaev inside distance. Now, if you don't want to put any straight money lines on it, all right? And you're like, hey, bro, I just want to do my thing with the fucking calls here. Bam, bam, bam. Where's the Chepe call? I got to take out, all right? And let's take out Camilo. Let's see just what the inside distance lineups are. Where the fuck is it? -1. Oh, right here. Plus 337. Saint Denis inside distance, Daukaus inside distance, and Susurkaev inside distance. All three to win inside distance. This is actually not crazy at all. I think this is a good like inside distance 3-leg with 3 confident picks that are live to finish. I want to create just a little doggy style parlay. All right. Because we got to do it, we're going to go underdogs. Chepe Mariscal, regardless of the staph infection, okay? Michael Morales, because we got balls of steel. Weili Zhang, because she is the greatest female fighter of all time. Plus 893 for those 3. I really think Benoit is going to win. You could hit it with plus 1405, but you want to clinch your pearls and go Jack Della Late, plus 3,377. And then here, plus 5,169. We're going D-Gen. This is D-Gen as fuck. We're in Blanchfield, plus 7,276, right? We're going fucking D-Gen Savage mode. Daukaus, plus 8,891. Like, let's just fuck around. We're just fucking around. It's like a full card sweep at this point. Theus Camilo, plus 1456. Susurkaev inside distance. I'm not telling you to do any of this, okay? I'm just having a good time. Plus 18,481. For those that like the degenerate shit that want to just throw a couple bucks. But the smarter ones is going towards sides I've talked about, like Camilo to win and Benoit Saint Denis as the Lock City parlay. Let's see what it's at now. It's still close, plus 147. It's still good odds, man. It'll be right around the mark that we had it at earlier on in the week, which is great to see. Then, you can build from there, the Blanchfield side on the lineup. Obviously, Malcolm Wellmaker should go out and win. Let's see if we do one more with a Wellmaker KO call. Let's do that real quick. Wellmaker by KO. If he doesn't get the KO over this kid, though, he's going to cook some cycle parlays. Wellmaker by KO. All right. Are you feeling the Wellmaker KO? I think so. Benoit Saint Denis to win inside of the distance. Plus 229. Okay. With Aaron Blanchfield down the center. Plus 361. Okay. And Kyle Daukaus to win inside of the distance as well. Bang, bang, bang. Plus 694. Because I want to just throw Susurkaev a bone. No, actually, let me not throw him a bone. Camilo straight. Plus 1182. Don't like Camilo? We'll go with the underdog option. Chepe Mariscal to dog it. Bam. Plus 11,568. Now we're going with Morales. Now we're going nuts. We'll just go. We'll just go. Might as well. We'll just go. Might as well. Might as well just go. Better intelligent than that. This is D-Gen. But these are not insane outcomes. These are fairly favorable outcomes as far as underdogs to win, etc. You've seen the safer stuff, okay? That's been on my mind throughout the week. That feels like good money calls. Of course, you could go. You want to just throw something light out. You're like, yo, man, I'm going to go Susurkaev on the money line. I don't even want to take the risk. I think Wellmaker about to handle this dude. I think so too. All right. You're like, yo, give me the side of Saint Denis. I think Saint Denis wins. You got plus 104 for that 3-leg. This will be the final showing, okay? You can do this if you want. Plus 104. That's really live to hit as well. If you're going with chalky faves with some chances to come through. That's the lineup. That's where the head is at. At the end of the day, I'm telling you what I'm thinking. Do your own research. Don't blindly tell. Put your information and research with mine for your best chance of success. You throwing a couple bucks down, it is what it is. Different combo. You throwing substantial heat, make sure you back yourself with some due diligence. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's weigh-in recap show for UFC 322. It was a banger. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I love you guys. Thank you for 55,000 subs and beyond. Subscribe if you just tuned in for a first time, or maybe you watched a couple videos or live streams but haven't yet. You should. Join the community. I'm live every single day. Videos every day pretty much, right? It's one or the other at the least. A lot of times both. Make sure you keep it locked in. Thank you guys for watching. Smash the likes on your way out and hype the video too. That's a new thing YouTube has. Make sure you hype up the video for your boy. Hype me up. And let me know in the comments what you thought of the picks. I want to hear from the community down below. I want to see where your heads are at. W in the comments if you got nothing to say. Keep it locked in. Post notifications. Turn them on. Not just personalized. Put them on all so you don't miss a video or live stream. I'll be live for the whole card. 6 p.m. Eastern time. Looking forward to the fight companion. I'll talk to you all soon. Much love and peace out.